4 American soldiers are dead. 3 United States fighter jets are on the ground in Kuwait, not shot down by Iran, shot down by a U.S. ally. Oil prices jumped 9% before most Americans finished their morning coffee. Explosions were heard simultaneously over Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Doha. Lebanon is on fire again. And buried inside a Pentagon briefing to congressional staff this weekend was a detail so significant that it should be the headline on every news channel in the world right now. Iran was not planning to attack American forces unless Israel struck first. That is not an Iranian claim. That is not Democratic opposition research. That is what Pentagon briefers told United States congressional staff privately on Sunday, Trump's own Defense Department, undermining Trump's own justification for the war on day 2. This is day 3, and the bill is already arriving faster than anyone predicted. Let me show you what's really happening. While cable news covers the military maps and the missile trajectories and the carrier groups, the mainstream media is missing the stories that actually matter to you personally. What this war means for your gas prices this week, for your retirement account right now, for the American soldiers whose families are waiting for phone calls that are not coming. 3 days in, 4 Americans dead, 3 jets down, and a war spreading across 6 countries simultaneously. What exactly is the plan? Here is what you need to understand. On Saturday morning, the United States and Israel launched a massive coordinated military strike against Iran. Trump called it a massive and ongoing operation. He said he would destroy Iran's missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. He said it would be decisive. His allies talked about 4 weeks, in and out, destroy the nuclear program, destroy the missile capability, come home. That was Saturday. By Monday morning, here is what had actually happened. 4 U.S. service members killed in action. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, stood at the Pentagon podium on Monday and said, this is not a single overnight operation. And then he said more U.S. losses should be expected. Trump's own top military commander telling the American people to expect more of their soldiers to die on day 3. Trump himself told reporters Sunday the conflict could last 4 weeks or so, 4 weeks. From the administration that promised no more foreign quagmires. 4 weeks with 4 Americans already dead and the war already spreading to 6 countries. But here is the detail that changes everything. CNN reported that Pentagon briefers privately told congressional staff on Sunday that Iran was not planning to attack U.S. forces or bases in the region unless Israel attacked first. Let that land. The imminent threat, the justification Trump used to launch this war without congressional approval, without a public case to the American people, without an endgame, privately undermined by his own Pentagon on day 2. And then consider what Trump himself said in his video from Mar-a-Lago on Saturday morning. We are doing this not for now. We are doing this for the future, not for now, for the future. That is not the language of an imminent threat. That is a president admitting publicly that the threat he used to justify this war was not actually imminent enough to require the action he took. And his own Pentagon is now telling Congress the same thing. Senator Jack Reed, the top Democrat on the Armed Services Committee, said it plainly. Against the clear wishes of the American people, President Trump has thrust the nation into a major war with Iran, one he never made a case for, never sought congressional authority for, and for which he has no endgame. No endgame. Remember those 2 words, because they are the most important in this entire story. Now, let me give you the receipts on what this war is doing to your wallet right now, because this is not theoretical. This is happening this week. Receipt 1. Oil prices. Brent crude spiked almost 9% on Monday morning. WTI climbed 8%. Dutch natural gas surged almost 48% in a single afternoon after Qatar's state-run energy company stopped production of liquefied natural gas following an Iranian attack on its facility at Ras Laffan. When gas prices spike that dramatically, it puts upward pressure on every energy market simultaneously. Heating costs, manufacturing costs, transportation costs, the price of everything that requires energy to produce or move. And here's the thing. These moves happened before the Strait of Hormuz was formally threatened. Iran has not officially closed the strait, but vessels are already avoiding the waterway. Oil tankers were attacked over the weekend. Saudi Arabia intercepted 2 Iranian drones at Ras Tanura, one of the largest oil refineries in the world. That refinery was a target. It was not destroyed, but it was targeted. If Iran formally restricts the strait, these price moves are not the ceiling, they are the floor. You are going to feel this at the gas pump this week, not next month. This week, receipt 2, your retirement account. Stock futures sank on Monday as markets tried to price an outcome nobody can predict. Markets hate uncertainty more than bad news. They can price bad news, they cannot price the unknown. If you have a 401k, look at it today. Then look at it again at the end of the week. Receipt 3, travel. Emirates, Etihad, and Qatar Airways have all suspended flights. Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Doha are effectively shut down. Thousands of travelers stranded across Asia, Europe, Africa, and Australia. This is what war looks like in a globally connected economy. It does not stay in the region where it starts. It spreads through supply chains, energy markets, and air routes until it touches ordinary people in Ohio and Amsterdam and Sydney simultaneously. Now let me show you exactly how the war is spreading, because 3 days ago this was a US-Iran conflict. Right now it is something significantly larger. Monday morning, Lebanon opened as a new front. Hezbollah fired 6 projectiles at an Israeli army base south of Haifa in revenge for Khamenei's death. Israel responded with a wave of strikes in Beirut and southern Lebanon, killing at least 31 people, according to Lebanese authorities. One of the most significant engagements between Israel and Hezbollah since the ceasefire of November 2024. The ceasefire that ended the last Lebanon war is over. Israel is now fighting on 2 fronts simultaneously. This is not a contained situation. This is a multi-front war, adding new fronts by the hour. In Kuwait, 3 U.S. fighter jets were mistakenly shot down by Kuwait's own air defense systems, not by Iran, not by Hezbollah, by Kuwait, a U.S. ally. The U.S. military confirmed it was an apparent friendly fire incident. 3 of the most advanced jets in the American arsenal on the ground because of a catastrophic coordination failure with one of America's own allies on day 3 of a war. Iranian missiles struck Israel again on Monday. A missile hit a bomb shelter in the city of Beit Shemesh near Jerusalem, killing 9 people. A bomb shelter. The place people go to survive exactly this kind of attack. 9 people dead in a place designed to keep them alive. CNN reported at least 5 people killed in U.S. and Israeli strikes in Iran, according to the Iranian Red Crescent, including at least 168 at a girls' elementary school, according to Iranian state media. The image of a school destroyed in airstrikes is the kind of detail that shifts public opinion on wars. It happened in Iraq. It happened in Afghanistan. History is watching how this one is explained. Now, let me tell you who is actually running Iran right now, because this determines whether this war escalates or finds an off-ramp. Khamenei is dead, and in his place, Iran has a 3-person leadership council. The country's moderate president, Masoud Pezeshkian, the hardline head of the judiciary, Gholam Hossein Mohseni-Ejei, and a senior cleric, Alireza Arafi, moderate hardline cleric. 3 people with fundamentally different visions making war and peace decisions together, under fire, while their country is being bombed, while the Revolutionary Guard is launching retaliatory strikes across the region. That is not stable. That is 3 people with different agendas trying to manage a war by committee in a crisis. The possibility of miscalculation is not low. It is very high. And miscalculation here does not mean a diplomatic incident. It means escalation. Now, here's the contradiction at the heart of this war that nobody in the administration has resolved. Trump told the New York Times the Venezuela scenario would be a perfect outcome, where U.S. forces seized President Maduro and accepted his deputy as a substitute, regime change by decapitation. But on Monday, Defense Secretary Hegseth stood at the Pentagon and said explicitly this is not a so-called regime change war. He said the objective is to destroy the missile threat, destroy the Navy, no nukes, limited, specific, not regime change. But Trump told the Iranian people on True Social this is their greatest chance to take their country back. That is not the language of a limited military strike. The President and the Secretary of Defense are publicly describing different wars in the same 24-hour period. That is not a messaging problem. That is a strategy problem. And strategy problems in active military conflicts have consequences that messaging cannot fix. 4 United States service members are dead. These are not abstractions. These are people who put on a uniform and went where their commander-in-chief sent them. They are not coming home. More losses should be expected. That is a warning to every military family in America right now. The friendly fire incident in Kuwait reveals how quickly things go wrong in ways no planning fully anticipates. 3 days, 6 countries, 4 Americans dead, 3 jets down from friendly fire, oil up 9%, natural gas up 48%, Lebanon on fire, thousands stranded, a girls' school destroyed, a bomb shelter hit near Jerusalem. That is the reality of day 3. Now the 4 scenarios for where this goes. Scenario 1, the 3-person Iranian council seeks a negotiated off-ramp. They calculate continued escalation is too high a cost. They open back channels through Oman or Qatar. Trump takes the opening. The war ends relatively quickly. Oil stabilizes. Trump claims victory. Possible. But Iran has a history of absorbing punishment without surrendering. And the Revolutionary Guard may not allow negotiations, even if the moderate president wants them. Scenario 2. The Revolutionary Guard takes control. They sideline the moderate president. They pursue hardline resistance. The war drags on past 4 weeks, past 8 weeks. American casualties mount, oil stays elevated, and Iran's nuclear ambitions accelerate. A military government that just survived American strikes has every justification to its own population to pursue a nuclear deterrent as fast as possible. CNN analysts cited this as the most likely outcome. Scenario 3. The Lebanon front escalates into a full Hezbollah war simultaneously. Israel fighting 2 major conflicts at once. American forces drawn deeper into supporting Israel on both fronts. The Houthis in Yemen reactivate against Red Sea shipping. This is the multi-front nightmare with no clear endpoint. Scenario 4. Iran restricts the Strait of Hormuz, the economic nuclear option, 1/5 of the world's daily oil supply. If that strait closes, these price moves are not the ceiling, they are the starting point. Oil to $100. To $120. The global economy tips toward recession. Every economic achievement Trump has claimed wiped out by energy prices. Catastrophic for the midterms. Here's what you need to watch. Watch the U.S. casualty numbers. Every American death increases congressional pressure to invoke the War Powers Resolution, which requires authorization within 60 days. That clock is already running. Watch the Strait of Hormuz every morning. Your gas prices are the most direct personal indicator of how this war is going. Watch the 3-person Iranian council for any signal of openness to negotiation. Watch Congress. Senator Reid has already called this war unconstitutional. If Republican voices join that argument, the pressure on the administration intensifies rapidly. And watch Trump's approval ratings. He entered this conflict at his worst ever numbers. The military rally effect is real but conditional on the operation appearing to succeed. If it does not appear to succeed, the rally fades fast. Marjorie Taylor Greene called the Iran strikes the worst betrayal she has ever felt from Trump on day 1. The America First voters who supported Trump specifically because he promised no more foreign wars are watching their president do exactly what they voted against. If the war goes long, that wing of the base gets louder. John Cornyn told CNN this will be a pretty short war. That statement is now on record. Politicians who predict short wars and deliver long ones do not recover easily. The Iraq shadow hangs over all of this. War started on imminent threat claims the administration's own Pentagon has privately walked back. No congressional authorization, no agreed endgame between the president and the defense secretary. Iraq started the same way. Shock and awe that looked decisive in the first days and unraveled into years of instability that destroyed a presidency and cost thousands of American lives. Trump built his brand hammering the Iraq war. And here we are on day 3 of a new Middle East. Conflict started the same way. The real story is the gap between what was promised and what is happening. Trump said decisive, 4 Americans are dead and more are expected. Trump said 4 weeks. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs said this is not a single overnight operation. The Pentagon privately told Congress the imminent threat claim does not hold up. The president described regime change as perfect. The defense secretary said this is not a regime change war. 4 days ago, Trump said diplomacy was his preference. 3 days ago, the bombs fell. 2 days ago, Khamenei died. Yesterday, Americans started dying and oil jumped 9%. Today, Lebanon is on fire. 3 U.S. jets are on the ground in Kuwait, and the war has spread to 6 countries simultaneously. The bill is arriving faster than anyone predicted. Watch your gas prices, watch the Strait of Hormuz, watch the casualty numbers, watch Congress, because what happens in the next 2 weeks determines the American economy heading into the midterms, whether Trump's second term is remembered for strength or for the war that got away from him, and whether the Middle East stabilizes or burns for a generation. This is day 3. And it is already nothing like what was promised. If you want to stay ahead of what is really happening behind the headlines, subscribe and hit that notification bell right now. Drop a comment telling me which of the 4 scenarios you think is most likely: the negotiated deal, the Revolutionary Guard takeover, the multi-front regional war, or the Strait of Hormuz closure, because the answer defines the next decade. And right now we are all watching it unfold in real time with no script and no guaranteed ending.